Hello everybody, this is Devin here with the Rogue Deck Chronicles podcast, and I am here this week to showcase a deck that I'm very excited to test, to experiment with, and to grow with the Journeys Together format, and even with the post-rotation format, and that is Lycanroc. So when I saw this card get dropped, I was like, ooh, this could be fun. And we're going to go into the deck that I found and kind of crafted to see how it can measure up with the rest of the meta in the early Journeys Together format. So Lycanroc is a Stage 1 fighting type Pokemon with 120 HP. It evolves from Rockruff, and it has the ability Spike Clad. So when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may attach up to 2 Spiky Energy cards from your discard pile to this Pokemon. It does have an attack for 3 colors energy, Clamping Fangs, 40 plus, and it does 40 more damage for each damage counters already on your opponent's active. So if there's a good handful of damage counters on the active Pokemon, this does a lot of damage. So it does have synergy with the Spiky Energy. The Spiky Energy is a new special energy that was released with Journeys Together. And Spiky Energy reads, as long as this card is attached to one of your Pokemon, it provides 1 colorless energy. If the Pokemon this card is attached to is in the active spot and is damaged by an attack by your opponent's Pokemon, even if it's knocked out, put 2 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. So we see that Lycanroc wants 2 of these on itself, so if it gets hit at any time, it is taking back and giving back 40 damage minimum. So we want to be able to try to get this cycle of single prize attacking Lycanroc into the active turn over turn using the Spiky Clad ability. And what we're going to partner it up with is Maractus. Maractus also came from Journey Together. It has the ability Exploding Needles. If this Pokemon is in the active spot and is knocked out by damage of an attack of your opponent's Pokemon, put 6 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. And it also has an attack for a single color's energy. Corner, it is 20, but your opponent's Pokemon cannot retreat during the next turn. So you can definitely keep the card in the active spot kind of stuck, and you can kind of use your active to start putting damage counters onto the opponent's side of the board any way you want. We do run 1 Budew for early pressure and the free retreat option. And then the draw engine for this deck is Dunsparce with the runaway draw ability. Once on your turn, you may draw 3 cards. If you drew any cards this way, shuffle this Pokemon and all cards attached to it back into your deck. So we really will never attack with it for the Land Crush, but we can always shuffle it back into our deck and draw 3 cards, which is going to be fantastic. And the only other Pokemon we have in this list is the Bloodmoon Ursaluna. Bloodmoon Ursaluna is a late game kind of beat stick where, because we're a single prize deck, our opponent is never going to take multiple prizes turn over turn. So we can manipulate when we want to play Bloodmoon Ursaluna to where we know if we just have to do a single attachment or no attachment at all, and then do 240 to our opponent's Pokemon without having any damage counters on it, just for an end game kind of situation. In terms of the item cards, we do run 3 Buddy-Buddy Poffins. Because our Rockruffs are below 70 HP, we can get those out that way. We do run 2 Nest Balls for the Maractus, and we do run 2 Ultra Balls. Again, this is an evolution deck, so Ultra Ball is very important. We run 3 Night Stretcher. Night Stretcher is makes sense for a single prize deck because pieces are going to go into the discard pile. We will be living out of our discard pile. Our discard pile is a resource zone for this deck. So Night Stretcher will be able for us to grab that Lycanroc to evolve into another Rockruff and be able to continue our cycle turn over turn over turn. Because we are a single prize deck, we will be playing behind a lot. So Counter Catcher is going to be very important for us. That way we can have Gust when we are running behind. And then our base spec for the game is going to be Unfair Stamp. You can only use this if your Pokemon's knocked out. Each player shuffles hands. We will draw 5, they will draw 2. So very good comeback mechanic card as well. And then the stadium choice, I'm running 2 Artazon right now. With us not running any Roblox Pokemon except for the Bloodmoon Ursaluna, this would be very easy for us to set up our bench, setting up our Dunsparce, setting up our Rockruffs, getting a Maractus if we need to. So that's where that strategy is going to go into play. In terms of supporters, we are running 1 Arven, because we do run 2 Counter Gains and 1 Rescue Board. We'll be running 2 Boss's Orders. The reason for the boss, this was a change we made during testing, is that after some testing we realized that unless we're getting the big KOs, the setting up phase of our deck is kind of a we'll set up, and then the opponent will just hide and get an attacker, and it's going to be really hard for us to get the prizes we're trying to set up. So the Boss's Orders will allow us to do that when we're in the tied prize trade, or if we're in a situation where we're ahead, we can get further ahead with the Boss's Order. Counter Gain's only good when you are behind in prizes. 1 Colress Tenacity, get a Stadium and an Energy card, reveal them. Really, this is for the energy search. We run a lot of special energy in the deck, so this is why we're doing that. Explorer's Guidance, look at the top 6 cards, put 2 of them into our hand, discard the rest. Again, more discard synergy. We want to put cards into our discard pile so that way we can utilize it as a resource zone. 4 Professor's Research, same thing. Discard your hand, draw 7, and then Iono. Shuffle your hand to the bottom of your deck and then draw as many cards you have prizes. So that is the draw supporters. In terms of energy, we're playing the 4 Spiky Energy. That is the kind of the crutch of the deck. That's where Lycanroc is going to be living in. But we're also going to be playing Reversal Energy. Reversal Energy is, as long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides a Colorless Energy. If you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, and this card is attached to an evolution Pokemon that doesn't have a rule box, this card provides every type of energy and only free energy at one time. So if we are in the lead, we can put more pressure on with the Lycanroc. We're running Jet Energy, that way we can do a switch. We do have a lot of Pokemon that have hefty retreat costs. Maractus is 2. The Dunsparce is 3. Dunsparce is only 1, but we want to be able to switch and pivot, and the Jet Energy gives us that. And then we're running 2 basic Lightning Energy right now. The one thing that we're going to be hoping for is, 1, we need some basic energy just so we're not entirely Enhanced Hammer targeted. We want to be able to get around some of that special energy hate in the format. But we also want to take advantage of if there's any Levincias in play, where if we're able to just put the Lightning Energy into this card, we can always bring it back into play with a Levincia in play. So there's the list. The deck list will be in the description of the video, and if you have any questions, definitely let us know. But let's go see how this does in a couple matches. So we don't want to go first, because I want to be able to use the supporter. So we're going to go second this turn. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I'm going to set up the bench just in case there's a Dong. We have a Spiky Energy, we have Artazon, we have an Arven. Playing against some form of Dark deck. We're facing Tyranitar. Ooh, this is going to be a fun one. Let's take all 3. We don't need double Dunsparce in play here. Okay. So leading off against a Budew, we do have a grass weakness, which is a little frustrating at times. But we see Larvitar coming in. Just a play down and pass. It's awesome to see for us. So I'm going to attach a Spike Energy here because I do want to try so we're not Arven. Take Buddy-Buddy. Grab a Rescue Board. We already have a Counter Gain in hand. The other Counter Gain looks like it is prized. So grab our Budew and put it in just so we have a free retreat option. And then we'll dig it up. Yes, we want to discard the Spiky Energy actually. Perfect. Nice little synergy there. So now next turn we do have to try to get a Lycanroc. Okay, what does this turn attack do? Opponent can't play any item cards from their hand as long as it's in the active. Okay, so no items, which is fine. We actually did that on purpose. So we got Iono. Attacks of our basic Pokemon cost more, which is fine. We're an evolution deck. So let's evolve the Dunsparce there. We can't use the active. Okay. So it's Maractus. Let's retreat into the Maractus. Because if he does attack into us, he's gonna take damage. Okay, we have double boss and we have Iono. Anything, because the Maractus won't really do much here. It would allow us to do a Nest Ball and Buddy-Buddy, but I don't think we have to do that. We're pretty set up here. But I do want Iono. Giving him 2 more cards isn't going to be the worst thing in the world. And being able to hopefully get some cards for us, we're going to get the Dunsparce. I'm going to put another Maractus down. I want to put options. We have options right here. We're just not seeing any Lycanroc, which is fine. We do have the 2 Spiky Energy in the discard pile, but we still would need a 3rd energy. But he is going to be doing damage to himself here. It's going to take 60. So he's going to take an early prize. He discarded another Spiky Energy, so we're in a very good spot in terms of Spiky Energy being where we want it to be. We're going to play the Budew. And that, and then I'm gonna research, hopefully getting a Lycanroc. Perfect. So we got a Lycanroc. Yes, we want a Spiky Quad. And then our opponent conceded once he saw their Lycanroc play. So very nice, easy game. Game 1 there. We didn't really do any damage, but we did the pressure that we needed to show what we can do with the Lycanroc. So let's go jump into another game. Alrighty. Going tails. And we want to go second. I value that use of supporter turn 1 and a potential attack turn 1. For us, it's not really much of an attack deck. I do not hate this lead here. This hand is a very good hand here. The Maractus lead with the corner, kind of sticking something in the active while we set up a Lycanroc is always a good feeling. So it looks like we're playing in some form of a Hops deck, which would be kind of cool. It does have a resistance to us, so resistance to 30, but that's just one set of damage counters for us in terms of how we kind of manipulate our damage. so not the worst thing in the world. But we're definitely seeing that those new trainer Pokemon come out. He's definitely boosting his own attacks. So we need to win that prize trade, or that Stadium War. Something we definitely need to do. So, getting set up against that Zacian, which is fine. We're gonna really try to rely on this Maractus to really get us into a position where the Zacian isn't as much of a threat. Because if it hits into the Maractus, that's 6 damage damage. So, and we got a Spiky Energy. So, with that being said, I am going to put a Maractus into play. We're in a Buddy-Buddy. Play the Dunsparce and another Lycanroc in play here. I am going to Spiky Energy here, and then I'm going to Iono. I want to try to get Lycanrocs for the future turns. We have a Dunsparce for the future turn, which is awesome. I don't think we really need Nest Ball right now. I will put a Budew down, just in case we have to retreat and pivot. Other than that, I think we're in a good spot just to poke 20 into this Paramoret, prevent from the retreat play, so making him use a switching card. And then we have another Maractus or a Budew on the bench here if we have to switch without him controlling the switch. We don't have any Spiky Clads yet, which that is a problem. We don't have any Spiky Energy, we have no Spiky Clad, we have the research, so we'll have to try to see what we get soon. The Darkness Energy of the Monkey Dory, so the slow setup is going to be a problem. But no energy, so we're going to go to our turn, which is awesome. So we have the Lycanroc. The problem is we don't have anything that the Lycanroc's going to want to see. So let's Runaway Draw. More Lycanroc, but no energy for the discard pile. That's a problem. So let's Explorer Guidance. And again, more not able to see pieces here. So we'll take the Dunsparce and Unfair Stamp, I guess. We'll Jet Energy. So I don't want to miss the attachment, but I don't want to evolve when we don't have any benefit to it. So we'll Nest Ball for a Dunsparce. That way we can do Dunsparce next turn. And we'll just poke another 20 and prevent the retreat. So yes, the Monkey Dory play onto the Budew is an option, which would open up him taking a prize lead on us, which is fine because it opens up our triple reversals. So kind of like this Budew bait, I'm okay with a little bit here. He is stuck, so he's afraid of something. Either he's afraid or he doesn't have anything, one of the two. Runaway Draw, see if we can get... We're really not getting much here. Okay. So I'm going to attach a basic energy to a Rockruff. And I have too many resources to just ditch away just to try to dig a little bit more. So we're going to, again, just corner one more time. I think Honestly, I won't mind doing an Iono if he has a big hand next turn. There's the switch card he's been looking for. So here's the question, how are they gonna do this? So he's doing the Insta Strike. He's gonna put 30 onto something of ours. 30 onto the Rockruff there, okay. So okay. So I'm gonna counter gain onto that one. And I'm gonna Iono. I'm gonna keep some of those resources in the deck. And we have the Spiky Energy now, which is good. Put those resources into the discard pile, because now we're gonna try to just not getting we're just not getting the one Spiky Energy. Just not getting the stadium to really counter that pot switch, to really just slow down his damage just a little bit. Because he resists grass. So, but I'm gonna do the corner, knowing that we no damage, but he can't retreat out. So he's gonna have to use a switching card for that Zashi, which is fine because I want him to try to take that 6 damage counters. Alright, so he attached up. Okay, he's gonna move damage counters around here and he's gonna Iono us. So the Monkey Dory's gonna get around the Maractus. But I'm just gonna put the other Maractus up. But he's not going to KO this Maractus. He's going to be running around. Yep, he's going to be using that Monkey Dory. And then he's going to basically just play around our abilities just by using that Monkey Dory. So we need to get the Poswick out. We need to slow him down somehow. Oh no, the Hop Snorlax is going to get the KO now. Right? 30 more, yeah. With this, he's putting damage onto himself. So he is going to take 2 more prizes. He's going to knock out this Budew probably. Yeah, so he's going to take 3 prizes this turn. But he's putting a lot of damage onto himself here. He is turning on this Rockruff. He's turning on all these Rockruffs actually. So we'll promote the one with the energy, with the damage on it already. But we definitely need, because that Iono really hurt us there. So let's see what we get from Runaway Draw. We got 1. Let's double check. We do have 2 Spiky Energy in the discard pile. We do. Fantastic. So we want the Spiky Clad. Yes, we do. Okay. Let's get rid of that Potswick. Let's Buddy-Buddy both of the Dunsparces there. check Artazon. There is one Maractus we can put into play, which is fantastic. And then let's do 360 to the Zacian. Get a little bit back, claw a little bit back into the game here. We got our reversal energy. We got our research. We have spiky energy in the discard now. So we just need to find Rockruff, or we have to find our Night Stretchers to try to really try to cycle this through a couple more times. Because he can't really do much more with the Monkey Dory. He has only one more use of the Cram here. He's going to do the 120 with the Cram. I can see that happening. And it's 120 to our active, so he's going to take damage and make us have to do an awkward prize trade. So he's down to 2 prizes. We'll go down to 3 if we want the return KO we do. So we might just be just a little too slow for the situation, but we definitely have to just do what we need to do here. So we're gonna evolve. We're gonna use Spike Flat here. I don't think we have anything in our no battle cards. So the Artazon just sitting there just limits his damage output, which is fine. So I don't think there's really a need to put the Rockruff down. Honestly, I don't think there's really a need to do anything. So we'll just take the prize. We have the energy situated here. I think we're just one turn too slow, which is a little unfortunate. But we'll see what he does. We have 3 prizes, so he's going to do another Cram for 120. So the boss would have been one of those awkward plays. I don't think we really could have gotten out of that. So, but that's the power of the new archetype. I do really appreciate that deck. He just cleared off all that. That slow start for us, really just poking the Maractus, we really couldn't get our energies into play as quick as we would want. Definitely was a small problem, but this archetype here with the Monkey Dory and the Cram and the Hop Zacian, really, really good. They kind of played around our ability a little bit and they played into their path perfect. But let's see what our opponent can do here. It's not game over just yet, but it's really close. Unfortunately, it's really close. Because like we can poke and put this damage onto the Cramorant, which is fine, but it's not ideal. And that 3 prize turn he set up, like the Budew was a little bit of a liability. We kind of were trying to bait him. We'll just research all those out. Don't need that Iono, don't need the Nest Ball. We could counter catch or something, but we wouldn't do any damage with it. That's the unfortunate part. But we definitely see the power of the cycling through of these Spike Energies. Oh, Unfair Stamp though, just to shrink his hand size. we're doing the 170. We're getting the prizes, which is probably one turn too late. But we don't know, really. I'm trying to see, can he get the 120 with just the way the board is set up? I don't know if he can. And I don't know if he's willing to risk getting into us for nothing. Because what we could also do is just put this Bloodmoon Ursaluna into play next turn. In 240. He's prime catching up. Probably one of the two, yeah. Okay, so I think that does do the damage. So that's setting up that 30. Does 90? 90, just enough, yeah. So he couldn't actually handle Lycanroc. We were actually in a very good spot if we had the Bloodmoon, but we were just one turn behind on that one, but that's still not bad. That Hops archetype is really, really strong. So we just a couple turns too slow, but we definitely made and put pressure on our opponent for that one. But we'll just jump into another game and see what happens. Alrighty, we are going second this game. We're moving at the mole. Oh no, we're not. We have a Dudunsparce. That's awesome. Okay. Going second against, it looks like maybe another Hop deck? Let's see what our opponent does here. Yep, it's another Hops deck. Okay. So, let's see if we can avenge our first one. This is a Steel type variant, so it looks like maybe Artazon potentially with it. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to attach the Spike Energy to the Dunsparce here, and I'm gonna Iono. I really don't want to get rid of some of the resources in the deck right now. I do want to set up some stuff, so we're going to use our Artazon here. Find a friend, and we're gonna find the evolution and put that away. So if he does attack us, we're going to be putting 10 damage back on. Not having items is fine because we don't have any in the hand. This deck is a lot of setup. It's a slower setup deck for sure, but once we get going, we can really ramp up our damage fairly quickly. And this is why, like, I talked about in our stadium episode of the podcast, where I don't really love stadiums like Artazon because we're allowing him to set up like we just did. And it doesn't, yes, it helps us, but it helps them just as much, if not sometimes even more. So I'm not the biggest fan of stadiums like Artazon. I understand why they're needed, and this deck definitely needs something like that. But when it comes to maybe revisiting and revamping this list, the stadium, I would probably relook at the stadiums. Because both games we saw in the previous one with the other Hop deck, they were able to put the crams into play. And that was a small problem. Okay, so he just took 2 prizes there. Very quickly. So we need to set up like now. Okay. Okay. So first things first, both of those. So now we have 2 Spiky Energy in the discard pile. Evolve. Here's the issue. We're in a spot here where I don't know if I can recover this turn. I have to do some damage. I'm not going to be able to do enough. He's going to easily... He needs one more Hop Snorlax, which he will be able to get with the Artazon. He takes a prize that knocks our Bloodmoon down to 2 total energy needed, which is still not enough. Definitely feels like more like a... I mean, Hop Zacian is just such an easy card to set up. Like 1 energy, you're just doing all those pressure points. Yeah, put another Hop, so that's going to give him the 120 units. 30, 30, 30, 30. By no means are we out of it. He's only have 1 attacker set up. He hasn't tried to set up a secondary attacker yet. And he doesn't have another Zacian slot open. So he's going to take 40 more damage. He's going to get the 180. He knocks out the Maractus the next turn. 80 plus 60. It'd be 240. So he'd be putting himself in KO if he wants to try to pressure us down to 2 prizes. Which still puts us in Bloodmoon range where we can do a follow-up behind. So the fact that we grab the Maractus, we can still do something with it. But he's going to try to set up. I think if I was him, I would set up our Artazon EX. Raging Hammer is actually a very good counter against us, because we want to place damage counters on him, but with 130 health, it doesn't really matter, because our damage multiplier bypasses that pretty quickly. Well, he's going to slow build this up. We'll see what he tries to do. Because he can't just let the Lycanroc stay in the end. Yeah. He's going to have to take damage. We can't do damage back to him. Oh, wow. He didn't do enough. I did the math wrong. How did... Oh, because I moved Potswoods out. Okay, let's put a Rockruff into play here. Let's Iono. Let's get stabilized here, which we can. The Night Stretcher. I don't know if I want a Night Stretcher yet, but we'll have to be able to Night Stretcher that Lycanroc back. But we have cards for next turn. So let's do Clamping Fangs for the KO to get us back into this fight. I was doing the whole math in my head with Potswoods as a card in play, but we have our Stadium in play. So, Counter Gain, a Maractus, so if he does get into a lead again, we can Counter Gain Rockruff and go with Clamping Fang. So let's see what he does. Because even if he pokes us with the hammer in, we'll put enough damage counters for another Lycanroc. And we have that 1 Night Stretcher, so we can at least get that, and then we have the Artazon. So we can get set up and try to stay within this 1-to-1 fight here. The biggest issue is... Yeah, here's Potswick, which is fine. He doesn't really have, unless he uses this slot for Zacian now. But he's going to put damage counters onto himself again. Oh, he's going to evolve that Duraludon to an Artraludon. 300 is a lot for us. But the Potswick's not going to help him. We're going to switch that out with an Artazon. And he Iono'd us down to 4. We have a Nest Ball. We have the research, so we're not in a bad spot anymore. Okay, so here's the question. Do we promote the Maractus and just stick that in the active, forcing him to attack and does taking more damage? I think we do. Because we can still set everything up, and we have a counter catcher, but we have nothing really we want to target. So let's Nest Ball. A Dunsparce, so we can potentially sub the Dunsparce next turn or in a future turn here. Counter catcher is great, but we don't have anything really we want to set up, and honestly, we just got a lot better resources here. I just want to try to set up my board a little bit here. Thinning out some decks here. We have a Spiky Energy, so we're not going to do any damage, but I want to stick him in this active, forcing him to attack into this Maractus. And then we have research, we can put a Spiky Energy. We have a couple other plays here where I'm okay going down, him going down to 2 prizes, because we can make that up very easily with 1 shot. So let's see how we go about this here. He is setting up another Artraludon. He's probably grabbing a switch. No, Hop's Bag and Hop's Choice Band, so he's going to try to put a Zacian in the play. If I was him. Yep, it's Zacian. It's beautiful art Zacian. So we need to get rid of this pot switch, which we can. Okay, so he is giving us an opportunity to really do damage here. So he's down to 2 prizes. We're going to get back to 2 prizes. So we really need to do good pressure on this Zacian next turn. So we got an Arven. Do we want an Arven for an Ultra Ball? I think so. Ultra Ball and a Counter Gain. We really don't need the Tenacity or the Counter Catcher. I'm gonna grab that Lycanroc. We're going to attach those there. I'm actually going to put 3 into that sucker. And we're going to get the KO. I'm keeping the Jet Energy in hand because I want to use it as a pivot card. If we ever have to, and we just got the Rescue Board, so we can always use that to pivot as well. So we now, if he knocks this out, which is what our goal is, we can counter catcher. Actually, I think both my counter catchers are in the discard. They are, but we still have our bosses. We can boss the Hopzachi up the game with Bloodmoon Ursaluna. It would be a little interesting how we will go about that, but there is still a line of play for that. We also are putting 60 damage counters onto this Artazon. So the 40 plus another 240. We're able to knock this out, I believe. So we have an opportunity to do that as well. So we have Counter Gain, so we don't really need everything. The Pheasantipity, so I'm going to flip this tree up, which is fine. The Pheasantipity also gives us another target for a boss if we get that off the top of the deck. Really at this point, if he attacks into this Lycanroc, he's putting 60 damage counter himself, which as a return KO, I think we can get to 300. So we just have to do 240. So we have the Counter Gain, we have the Research. So I think if he does that play, we're fine. Honestly, I think if he attacks us with anything, with 6 damage counters going onto that active, we can knock that out. But I hope my math is right. Let's see what he does. Metal Defender. Okay, so he did decide to go into the attack. He is betting and forcing us to get a Lycanroc. So I'm gonna go all in on that because I believe that is our win con. We got the Bloodmoon Ursaluna. 240. Okay, I'm gonna put that into play just in case as an alternative win con here. Actually, no, I can't even use that as an alternative win con because I just did that. Okay. But I think we're fine. We ended up getting what we needed from the Night Stretcher. That was a slight misplay. I should have put the Rescue Board on instead of the Counter Catcher. But we got what we wanted out of it. I'm gonna get rid of that stadium just in case my math is wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. 280, yep. So we got the KO, we got the win. The pressure of Lycanroc, the pressure of the single prize deck, forcing our opponent to take 6 KOs in a match is phenomenal. So we did a lot of damage there, showing off the great strategy, the great emphasis of that Spike Clad, and kind of forcing our opponents into tough decisions. Alright, so we had 3 games, 2 really good wins, 1 very close loss with the Lycanroc deck. So that Spike Clad ability with the Maractus is a really good position deck. Now there are decks out there, as we saw in the loss, that Monkey Dory can kind of play around with our setup with math. But if we get that Lycanroc set up with the spiky energy and force them to attack into us turn over turn, the damage counters aren't going to stay on the board long. So it's one of those situations where we have to force our opponent to attack into the targets we want them to attack in with the setup we want them to. But it's a really fun deck. I do think that this deck list is still a work in progress. I think the Artazon is something that is just not for my style, but some people love those type of stadiums. And I think the basic Lightning Energy is something we need to revisit because just Iono cards are not as popular as the other trainers cards. So it might be something where there's a couple slots here and there we can adjust to make the deck even better for the future. But thank you everyone. If you made it this far into the video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up. We definitely enjoy making these deck videos with a new set, a rotation coming up, a whole bunch of fun things with the Pokemon TCG at time of recording. It is always a really good time to get in and play these little cheaper decks. I think I priced this deck at like $25 total for everything. Obviously not max rarity like that on our account, but this is a cheap deck that you can make and get and kind of play with and experiment. But with that, guys, thank you very much. And as always, have fun playing those sneaky decks.